Good evening, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks. Sorry for the late video. Monday has become a little bit busy because I'm dog sitting, so I ended up doing it a little later in the evening on Tuesday, so hopefully you guys understand. As today, I am going to be covering NWA Power, the continuation of their Hard Times taping, I believe, and MLW Fusion, their Blood and Thunder special. No AEW Collision. I did watch it, but I did not take notes. I do apologize for that. Gonna try to get through these as quick as possible. I'm going to try to stick with the details as I have them. So, let's start it off with NWA Power Hard Times. I think this is like the third episode for the Hard Times taping. And we started us off with Tiffany Nieves, Natalia Markova hype video, which, honestly, NWA is doing really good at that. Then we got an interview starting off an interview with Daisy Kill and his new heavy, Big Cuzzo, which, that's interesting to see. So, Daisy Kill pretty much says, last month, Eric Smalls cost me the television title. Tonight, Alex Misery, you better bring everything you've got because it won't be enough. Because the title is coming home with me tonight. Which leads us into our first matchup of the evening for the NWA television title. You got Alex Misery versus Daisy Kill. And, you got the time limit on it. About 6 minutes. But they did a lot in this 6 minutes. Alex Misery obviously bringing more of the high-flying, Daredevil, Jeff Hardy stuff. Daisy Kill kind of matched him, but he was more I don't want to say technical, but he was kind of technical in this match, which was great. After a whipped moonsault into a KO punch, Brandon McCord, who is Alex Misery's manager, puts his feet on the ropes in a pin. Then this brings out Eric Smalls for whatever reason. And I kind of roll my eyes because I'm getting a little tired of this feud. I'll get into that in a few minutes. Then Bones kind of gets in. Then Big Cuzzo drags him out. And I guess the McCord Collective together takes him out? I'm not sure. I didn't really see. Eric Smalls gets in the ring. Little punch to the Family Jewels with the ref distracted. Eric Misery with the DDT and then a frog splash to pick up the win. So, I'm going to say this. This match kind of felt like Bloodline Rules from WrestleMania 40. It was just kind of, oh, you come in here, you interfere. And, I get it. It's to further some feuds, which is great. I don't mind that. But I feel like I've seen enough of this style of match. Let's move on to something else. Speaking of moving on to something else. So Eric Smalls gets in the ring, gets in Daisy Kill's face, gives him a couple of stomps before Big Cuzzo gets back in the ring, towering over Eric Smalls. And I mean, towering. This dude is gigantic. Gets him behind Smalls, picks him up. Looks like he was going to hit a suplex, but then transitions into a big old power slam to end the segment. Yeah, I'm going to say this. This Daisy Kill, Eric Smalls feud needs to have a period somewhere. This feud needs to end. I am growing a little bit bored of it. It's just not that fun anymore. Anyway, then we go to the back for an Aaron Stevens slash Slade slash Mike Mondo promo, where Stevens starts off saying things got a little teary. I don't know what that means, but it ended up well for us. Then this is Slade saying to Damian Fenrir, You've challenged me 3 times already. 3 times you found out that it's either tap or snap. Then Mondo comes in saying, Brian Idol, we are on different levels of success. You are a former national champion. I'm the current one. You're clearly not on my level. But look at me. I'm a gladiator. You call yourself the looks that kill. Well, I'm the looks that kill now. So, setting up some feuds for the future. Hopefully that national title match is going to be good, because I'm kind of looking forward to it. Then we get a little commercial break. Come back to a Kratos promo. Now, no Odinson in sight, which that gives me a little bit of bad vibes. Anyway, so Kratos says, I hear all the chatter. I heard I don't brag enough. I hold a lot of gold here in the NWA, but I keep getting asked what I'm going to do. I became the best big man in the business, and I'm coming for the NWA heavyweight title. And Effie, you'll see why they call me the best. Ooh, very interesting. So, name dropping Effie. If you don't know who Effie is, he is a wrestler in mostly GCW. I know he's been in other promotions, but that's where I know him from. And he's definitely more of a character than a wrestler. So seeing him come into the NWA would be interesting. Unless I missed his debut already. Which I kind of hope I didn't, because that guy is kind of awesome. Anyway, next match, we got a tag team match, playa. We got Jack and Eddie, who, honestly, gonna say these guys, they got Motor City Machine Guns vibes. I love them. They're quick, they're young, and they know what they're doing in the ring. Taking on the Federation of Champions, and I use that term loosely, affiliates. You got Lockjaw Drake, who is Carson Drake's cousin, who apparently has a jaw made of metal. And the Slimeball's associate for the past, I don't know, I want to say like month and a half, Buster. But we've never seen his face. He's he's kind of dressed like the WWE 16. I think that was the game. There was the one character you can unlock during story mode or Road to WrestleMania, I think that was. Where he's got like camel pants, looks like a tactical vest, and he's got a mask on. He's kind of like the hillbilly version of that, because he's got like flannel undershirt, big like vest. It's a weird looking fella. So anyway, Buster starts out, and you can tell he's just there to be a big man. And I'll give him credit. He does that role well. Jack and Eddie do fight back. But the match finish comes with Eddie and Lockjaw in. Eddie goes for a jawbreaker, but he sells it like Lockjaw has a jaw made of metal. So that knocks him out. Lockjaw just puts a foot on his chest and calls for the 1, 2, 3 for Lockjaw, Drake, and Buster. So, gonna be interesting to see where this alliance goes. I don't think they're gonna be tag team champions anytime soon. Maybe United States tag team champions, but I don't know. This is a very random pairing that I'm kind of okay with, if that makes sense. And actually, speaking of the Drake family, we now move to the Carson Drake Experience segment. This time with the Slime Balls, except they have their, founding fathers gear on the table in front of them, so they're in their regular gear. So they say, while we're not the United States Tag Team Champions, we're still the presidents of the U.S. Tag Team Title Division. Then Carson calls them his second favorite tag team, and they do the first is the worst, second is the best rhyme, which I haven't heard since I was a kid. That geeked me up a little bit. Then they continue on saying, hard times didn't beat us, we got distracted, our titles got stolen. Then Carson Drake shows the highlights of exactly what happened and how they got beat, which, receipts from Carson Drake, that's interesting. And then, I guess that gets under the skin of the Slime Boss. They're saying, look, he clearly cheated. We were screwed out of our tag team titles. And then Carson just says, enough, and ends the segment. So, this is definitely going to be interesting. I feel like they're building up the Slime Balls to be like, maybe they're going to start the resistance against the Federation of Champions, which I wouldn't be mad at. You already got the two of them. You got Lockjaw Drake, and then you got the big guy. I forget his name. Buster. Who I hope they have a reveal for that guy. Just gonna say. So then, get a little commercial break. Come back to a Colby Corino promo. I haven't seen Colby Corino in feels like forever. And he says, I took last year to make sure I'm ready to go. Next week when I return, everyone knows my destiny is the NWA World Title. Yes, sir. I cannot wait to see Colby Corino back in the ring. He is one of the most underrated guys to ever wrestle, much like his father before him, Steve Corino. I hope he gets his dream. I'm ready to follow him to the end. I'm ready. So next up, a very interesting rematch. These two definitely had a match recently, as we got the Pope against Carnage from BFT. And I'll admit, this match was slow to start, but eventually it got going, including a backstabber from the Pope, which I haven't seen him pull out that ever. They do a little bit more back and forth. Pope then rolls out of the ring, gives the big man an eye poke, which, that's hilarious. Then he gets a chair from the audience members, not from under the ring. He takes it from one of the audience members, throws it in the ring, goes for a chair shot, whiffs. Carnage then fights back after a while, picks up the chair, hits a chair shot on the Pope to cause the DQ win for the Pope. And just as Big Man is about to give Pope some more, his group, The Light, who are these masked thugs, come out and make the save and just have a beat down on Carnage. The Light then hold Carnage in the ring for the Pope, who hits a big old KO punch to knock him out. I am ready to see who these two guys are, because I think that reveal is going to be very interesting. I mean, honestly, if I'm kind of thinking about it, could be Devon's boys. If you remember from back in TNA in... God, when the heck was that? Either it was 2012 or 2013 when the Pope was there. He was feuding with Devon over the TV title / Legends title / whatever the title you want to call that thing. And the Pope was trying to recruit his sons, who, if I remember correctly, were starting to get into wrestling. I believe I don't know where they are now. I know they're wrestling. I'm not sure where they're wrestling, though. So, to bring those two in, like this, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Either way, let's see. Then, we see a Giselle Shaw promo. Our current women's television champion, saying, I'll be defending my title coming up at Hard Times versus newcomer Olivia? That's what I have on my notes. I'm not sure if that's correct, because I was kind of rushing. Giselle then says, look, Olivia, you may be starting your dream now, but it's in the middle of my dream. And if you're going to rip this away from me, you're going to have to do it with out of my cold, dead, freshly manicured hands. Which, I think that's a great line, by the way. And then we get to our main event, kind of. We'll get there. Originally, it was supposed to be a no DQ match for the NWA Women's title. So we got Markova making her entrance. As we see Tiffany Nieves and TVMA come out, you see Tiffany using a walker. Like, not even, like, crutches, like an old person's walker, which, honestly, that looks weird. And it's all tricked out, too. Like, it's made to be, like, pretty. Which, that was kind of funny. So, everyone from TVMA helps Tiffany in the ring. So then, we get the interviewer in, ask what's up, saying, as of today, I've submitted my paperwork. I am not cleared to compete tonight. And what's worse, he told me I'll have to be stripped of my NWA Women's title. And Markova, I know this isn't what you wanted. I know you were a fair champion, so it's only fair you face me when I'm cleared. And I wanted to be... this is Markova now saying, I want to beat you for that title. You never beat me for it. You should be ashamed to call yourself a champion. So Tiffany Nieves replies, look, I want you to see you all to get a high quality match tonight. Someone to drive the opportunity. So then she looks back at her heavy Greta and says, I got an idea. If you beat Greta tonight, I'll drop the title right here, right now. But when Greta beats you, I pick the stipulation for our match at NWA 78, which is the next pay-per-view. So then, go to a commercial break. Come back, not to the match, but to a Tom Latimer promo, saying he's been everywhere, held titles all over, and I wanted to help the next guy up, and I saw El Dragon Nihan. And what do I get for that? I get stabbed in the back. Well, next week it'll be Tom versus the Dragon, and you'll learn why to fear my name. Oh, them's fighting words, baby. I can't wait for that. That's going to be a fun one. Then we go to a Thrillbilly Silas Mason promo, because why not? He says, the time I took to figure you out, Kerry, it seems we've gotten to this moment where I track you down like a dog. You tried to put a target on my back, but nobody puts a target on my back. The NWA, in other words, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion is going to hunt you down. So, clear goes from Thrillbilly Silas Mason, I guess. He did ramble a little bit, which, I don't know, I guess he was a little too into it, but I get the message. Now we go to our real main event, still a no DQ match, this time between Greta and Natalia Markova. And right off the bat, the makeup artist, who I keep thinking is Reggie from WWE, if you remember him. He was Sasha Banks Sommelier, or whatever he was. Like, I keep thinking it's him. Apparently, at some point, he grabs a chair. It looks like he's about to hit Markova with it. But Markova takes the chair away, hits a chair shot to Greta, who completely no-sells it, and just starts beating down Natalia Markova. One point, Markova gets a big boot in, but Miss Star grabs Markova, Greta then with a gigantic headbutt into a backdrop. Markova fights back with some elbows, and then a Rana that gets blocked right into a powerbomb. Then the makeup artist and Miss Star grab a table, slide it into the ring, sets it up. I don't know what makes it fall, but I guess someone didn't, hook it right, so that half the table fell down. Eventually, they do get it back up. Then Greta attempts a choke slam. That gets blocked by Markova. She fights off the rest of TVMA. Hits a couple of chair shots on Greta, but she no-sells. Markova was going for the beautiful disaster until Miss Star grabs her by the leg. Markova then somehow ends up... I think it was Nieves grabs a kendo stick, hits Markova with it. Then Greta with a big old choke slam to Markova through the table to pick up the win. Yeah, again, a lot of interference in this matchup, which normally I'm kind of okay with, but I feel like we've already had one of these types of matches where it's just all interference and people coming in. And look, I get it. It's because Nieves is a heel. She is in a heel group. The group is going to help her. And I don't really mind that, but I feel like you need to space these kind of matches out a little bit. Otherwise, a completely fine episode of Power. I wouldn't say there's anything truly must-watch, but I do think there's some fun stuff in here. And now we finish up with MLW Fusion, Blood and Thunder. Which, honestly, this was kind of a confusing show. I'll tell you why in a second. First, we got a nice little card rundown, which I always appreciate at the top of a show. It doesn't interfere anywhere, and it gives a clear direction of what's happening on said show. Now, here's where the confusion kind of starts. So this first match, I thought, was for the MLW Women's title. You have Scarlett Bordeaux taking on Lady Frost and Shotzi Blackheart in a triple threat. And honestly, this was this was a really, really good match. A lot of really good back and forth. A lot of really good interactions, including having all three in the ring at the same time, which, in wrestling, I cannot tell you how much that makes me angry. To see one person have to slide out, then we get a one-on-one. That's not a real triple threat to me. Anyway, after attempted senton by Shotzi, Lady Frost knocks her off the top rope, hits the frostbite, which is a big old moonsault, to pick up the win. Now, like I said, I thought this was going to be a title change. Apparently it wasn't, because Frost did the title motion and didn't walk off with the title. So that was a non-title match, I guess? I don't know if I missed something, but I thought this was a women's title match. I don't know. But you know what? Good on Lady Frost. Personally, I'm always going to be a fan of hers, because she's completely underrated. And I'm glad she's getting a little bit of a push. Next we see influencer, now turned wrestler, I guess, Corey Joy, with her pretty much same promo she cut last week via her social media. Then we got this interesting little hype video for the Hate group from Stardom, which, I'm a little hyped for that. I know my Stardom, and Hate is one of the more interesting factions in Stardom, so definitely going to be some fun crossover there. Then we get a little recap of the interaction between Riddle and Cross from last week, after Cross and Riddle leave a sparring session, I guess that was, with Riddle telling Cross he owes him, in which, is that going to be another title match? Is that going to be something else? I'm not sure. Either way, going to be interesting. Then we get the usual Don Gato segment, where it's pretty much just a big advertisement for his tequila, which, I'm going to ask this. Who knows if this is real? I need to know, because I kind of want to taste it. And then we go to another segment. It's the recap of Joseph Samael, revealed as Contra's Serpent, aka the leader. Which, honestly, I kind of didn't see that coming. And I'm glad he's back, because I feel like he was kind of crucial to the early days of Contra, especially helping out Jacob Fatu. And yes, it's that Jacob Fatu. Anyway, then we get a pre-recorded video promo from Joseph Samael, along with highlights of the carnage Contra has been recently up to, with Joseph saying, "We're not here to take over this time. This is a crusade, and crusades aren't negotiated, they are executed. I needed you all to believe I was gone, and here I stand again. Hail Contra!" I love that. It kind of reminds me of G.I. Joe with their bad guys. Except these guys are actually confident. So, interested to see where Contra goes from here. Maybe we'll see Big Damo as world champion. I wouldn't mind that. Anyway, our next matchup. Yes, it took us that long to get into another matchup. It's Alan Angels, yes, number 5 from the Dark Order, taking on Joe Coffey in a match I never thought I'd see. But here we are. Joe Coffey is being seconded by Mark and Wolfgang from the Gallus Boys on Top stable. And yes, that's their name. It's a little lame, but I can dig it. I'm going to say this. This was the most evenly matched match on the weekend. Like, these two have some great chemistry that I never knew they had. I don't know if they've had a match together at all, but it shows. These two guys really let it loose. Then after a big old lariat, your winner is Joe Coffey. And honestly, a really entertaining matchup. Post-match, all three of the Gallus Boys are interviewed, with Mark taking the lead. Well, no, with Joe taking the lead, saying, "What's the matter, interviewer? Do I make you feel uncomfortable? Yeah, you're right. I put Trevor Lee in the hospital. And I remember, we got another surprise. I'm the one who took out Teddy Long as well." This brings out, with no music, which I appreciate, LeBron Cozone. And he's looking for blood. He's got a steel chair in his hands. At that point, both are being held by security. Coffey still has a microphone. He's saying something, and I can't really distinguish what it is. But eventually things simmer down a little bit, and he says, "You want to fight me, big man? It's on." And MOW, it's Gallus Boys on Top, which I kind of dig that. So, yeah, got a nice little matchup next week between LeBron Cozone and Joe Coffey, in which, low-key, another match I never thought I'd see. Then we got a little hype video for Killer Kross versus Satoshi Kojima, which is our main event. We'll get to that. Definitely got another AI Jumbo hype video. I'm not sure who Jumbo is, but I guess we'll see. He might. I just hope he's not as bad as Cheeks, if you remember him. He's a big man from TNA's original area from the Tennessee Fairgrounds. Look him up. He's nutty looking. And then, after a quick little commercial, we get a little tail of the tape between our two combatants, which, I tell you, I kind of miss on wrestling shows. I kind of wish more promotions would do stuff like this. Because it's like the little things that add up that make it really good. Then we get another hype video for the Opera Cup, but it doesn't give a date on which it's starting. And which I hope it's kind of starting soon, because I'm always for the Opera Cup. And we get our main event of the evening for the MLW World Title, as Killer Kross defends against Satoshi Kojima. And I'm going to tell you, this might be one of my favorite Killer Kross matches / Karrion Kross matches of all time. Like, these two guys have some awesome chemistry together. Really good back and forth. They countered each other's moves. One point we see Kross with a cozy cutter and then the cozy lariat, only getting a 2 count. Goes for the Doomsday Saito. That gets blocked into a cozy cutter. Kojima tries for a lariat, but that gets blocked into a lariat of his own. Kross with a Doomsday Saito for a 2 count. Locks in the cross jacket. You see Kojima fade. They do the raise hand gimmick. On the third one, it looks like Kojima's about to fire up, fight out. Instead, the weirdest thing happens, and almost immediately Kojima taps. in which I don't think I've ever seen that in like a submission like that. Usually after the wake up, the challenger fights out and gets out of it. But Kojima putting over Cross like this is big. Like, it is huge. So then, post-match, they both bow to each other, which is very nice, very respectful. Then Cross, post that, they shake hands. Cross gets a microphone. At that point, Riddle comes out, which... okay, that's interesting. He gets in the ring. It looks like he's about to make a beeline for Kojima. Cross puts a hand on his shoulder and say, Matt, don't hurt him. So Cross kind of pushes him into the corner a little bit and says to Kojima, Kojima, you have been an inspiration to me for generations. This has been an honor to share a ring with you. And from everyone here in this arena to those at home, please come back. At that point, they have another little bow to each other. Kojima leaves. Then Riddle comes in, raising Cross's hand. Then he takes the microphone and says, remember, you owed me. And then he bails. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting twist to the Matt Riddle Killer Cross story, which honestly gets a little... I think this little notch that Cross owing Riddle something, like, I feel like that's a nice little twist that this story needed. So, yeah, that is it for this week in wrestling. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like the video and leave a comment with your favorite either match or segment from this week in wrestling. It could be from any promotion you want. And, yeah, let me know. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.